I'm Josh Light with PoliticIt.com here in Kentucky with Randolph Vance. He's an independent candidate running for Congress in District 6. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your PoliticIt website.
Well, we're glad to have you. So tell us the big differences between you and your competitors in this race.
The Democratic incumbent Ben Chandler and the GOP challenger Andy Barr, they both accept millions of dollars from outside special interest groups and campaign contributions. I'm doing everything out of my own pocket. And believe it or not, I work third shift in a convenience store. You wouldn't know it because I'm right now wearing my superhero costume, I call it. So.
And how has your experience prepared you for Congress?
I learned how to listen to people because a lot of my customers, my night owls that I call them, they have a great diversity. One of them works in a coal fire plant where he's telling me that in 2014 we're headed towards a major economic crisis with regard to our energy policy. The coal fire plants have until 2014 to get ready for scrubber technology. If they're not up to scrubber technology codes set by the EPA, set by the 2007 Supreme Court ruling, Massachusetts v. EPA, where the EPA is forced to enforce greenhouse gas emission standards. In 2014, those coal fire plants have to shut down. And then our electricity rates are going to go up probably as much as 400%. So we have to do something now. We have to create new alternative energy sources right here in our Commonwealth so that we can head off this energy crisis that we're headed towards. And the part of it is, I'm not opposed to subsurface coal mining because that's an important and vital economic resource to our community. Governor Steve Beshear recently negotiated a trade deal with India where we're selling basically $9 billion worth of Kentucky coal every year to India. They have their own coal reserves. They just don't have any way to effectively get it out of the ground. They don't have the heavy equipment that we do. Now, if I'm not opposed to subsurface mining, but I am opposed to mountaintop removal. Mountaintop removal is very, very destructive to our environment. It releases toxic chemicals into the soil, into the water, and it basically renders these areas polluted and uninhabitable. And you could better use those mountains for wind turbine farms, where we could have a wind energy center modeled after the Alta Wind Energy Center in the Tehachapi Mountains of California. They generate 3,000 megawatts of electricity every year, and they employ about 3,000 jobs. This is jobs that we could have right here in our community, and we could lower our energy costs and save our coal and preserve the environment all at the same time.
Randolph, people in District 6, they're concerned about the economy. How do we generate jobs here in Kentucky?
We can generate jobs through industrial hemp. A 1991 survey from the Governor Brereton Jones found that you could create 60,000 jobs through the many uses of industrial hemp, through biofuels, biodegradable plastics, paper, soaps and lotions, even food. You can make hemp seed into protein-rich food. There's all kinds of uses for industrial hemp, and we're just letting our farmland go to waste because we waste money on the no-grow tax subsidies for tobacco farmers. Tobacco farmers are getting their contracts cut, and it's understandable that they know that smoking's unhealthy for you. They're losing their contracts because smoking's on the decline. So they would rather accept corporate welfare checks from the government than actually growing another cash crop. So what we could do is we could start growing industrial hemp. What we would need to do is pass H.R. 1831. That was legislation that Ron Paul introduced into this recent congressional session. H.R. 1831 would differentiate industrial hemp from the 1970 narcotics declaration, where it basically makes cannabis and other cannabinoid-related plants illegal. If you have industrial hemp differentiated from marijuana, then farmers are free to grow it again. We've got an agricultural commission right over here in the state capitol building. They're waiting on the federal government to decide what to do about industrial hemp. Their hands are tied because they don't know whether or not it's going to be legal for them to grow again. So basically we're paying a commission in Frankfurt to just sit around and wait for the federal government to do something about industrial hemp. Now, the only reason that we're not passing H.R. 1831 is because of the lobbyists that are controlling Congress right now. The problem with Washington, it's not the Democrats controlling it, it's not the Republicans controlling it. It's the lobbyists and the special interest groups that are controlling it. You've got lobbyists in the paper industry, the Koch brothers. They don't want hemp legal because it would threaten their hold over their wood pulp paper industry. Exactly the same the reason that William Randolph Hearst made hemp illegal in the first place, where he funded the 1930s movie Reefer Madness. He got everybody paranoid over the five-bladed leaf. They made marijuana illegal, and just as a precaution, they also made hemp illegal. And that's insane logic. We basically played right into William Randolph Hearst's hands by doing that. And also, the oil cartels don't want hemp made legal again, because with 6% of the available farmland in the United States growing industrial hemp for biofuels, you could supply the energy needs for our entire country with hemp seed biodiesel and hemp stalk bioethanol. Hemp bioethanol is much easier to produce than corn bioethanol. Corn bioethanol, you need $1.50's worth of energy to get a dollar's worth of energy back. When with hemp bioethanol, you can actually reverse that trend. You could do away with the subsidies on corn, because that way you could have more corn going to our food production. And then with not just paper, not just textiles, you could have textiles that are producing clothing that is much superior to cotton. Cotton crops are very destructive to the land, to the soil, and they cause soil erosion. Hemp is actually a very efficient crop. You don't need much water to grow it. You don't need any pesticides or herbicides to grow it. Cotton, you need all kinds of chemicals to basically maintain your cotton fields. And the whole issue of hemp is that one crop can be creating so many jobs and make so many products. Why aren't we making it legal to grow again? We're basically playing into the fear of a five-bladed leaf. Hemp is not marijuana, and hemp is actually the dominant strain of cannabis. If you had outdoor hemp crops, they would actually render outdoor marijuana crops impotent. The cross-pollination factor. A good farmer knows not to plant regular corn and sweet corn in the same field, after all. And one of the best hemp advocates that we've got in Washington right now is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, where he's been basically saying the same things, that hemp is not marijuana. We can grow hemp. We can provide jobs for our community. And hemp actually has many beneficial uses.
What would be the foreign policy implications if hemp was made legal here in the United States?
You could solve the Mideast crises of the world in just 10 simple words. Biofuels made from industrial hemp grown right here in Kentucky. When what you have paying at the pump goes to foreign dictators who use that money to launch terrorist attacks against us, that's insane. Why don't we just take that money that we pay at the pump and recirculate it back into Kentucky farmers? They can use that money better than foreign governments can.
Randolph, how are you working to improve your IT score?
I've got my Randolph Vance for Congress Facebook page. I also go on Twitter, and I also go on Facebook a lot. And basically, I'm going on AM talk radio shows during the mornings. I call in to News Talk 590. I talk to Sue Wiley. I talk to Cruiser. And also, I've got some debates coming up where October 29th, I'm going to be going on the KET debates hosted by Bill Goodman. Now, hopefully, Ben Chandler and Andy Barr are going to show up for this, because this is an important debate. Ben Chandler said that he's only going to have one debate this year, so this is pretty much going to be it. And I'd like for all three of us to have some quality time where we're not arguing issues, but we're coming up with solutions for these problems.
How's your campaign going right now?
It's going rather well. I like the fact that I'm able to talk to people where I work third shift in the convenience store, and I just chat with them about, what's going on in the world. It's like, hey, what did you think of last night's Romney and Obama debate? Or what do you think of our energy policy? Or what do you think of the problem with entitlement reform? Or what do you, there's a lot of problems in the world that we can easily be solving. And if we just sit down and talk to each other instead of arguing the talking points that the Democratic and the Republican parties have with each other, you could actually be accomplishing a lot. If you had independents that were in Congress right now, if you had more independents, then both parties actually have to work together to get what they want done, because no side would have a clear majority.
Where can people go to learn more about you?
They can go to facebook.com/Randolph Vance for Congress or tinyurl.com/rvance. That's where I've had my Facebook group going for the longest part, but I just now recently started the Facebook direct page. So,
Well, thanks for meeting with us today.
thank you, sir. Thank you.